This episode of the Damage Guild podcast is sponsored by listeners like you. Join the guild at patreon.com/damageguild to receive exclusive perks, member rewards, and bonus content.
Previously on the Damage Guild podcast.
You spot 8 cultists leaving the party.
So we've waited until that group has passed us, and then we trace after them. What about the cage room? Could we wait until they're down there and then reset the whole puzzle so that it fills with acid?
Would they just be trapped in there? That's perfect.
They make their way into the first trial. You wait around about 10 minutes and then open the door and you don't see anyone.
We can trap them down there. We just rotate the column. I should go and try the levers. Shabba should stay and be ready to shoot.
You hear feet on stone coming from the rooms up ahead, and you see cultists entering the chambers. They look up through the lattice work of metal and see you standing in the door. One of them shouts, "It's them!"
Ha ha! It's us! Suckers!
From behind Tokas's shoulder, I pop my head up and I point to the crown on my head and I say, "You looking for this?"
Everyone roll initiative.
Oh boy.
Ah,
Dun, 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 dun. Initiative.
just what I wanted to hear.
14 for Shab and 13 for Stripes.
For Azlo, that'll be a gentleman's 22.
Wow. Tokas is going on an 8. I feel like there's something last session that I really wanted to remember for this session, but I can't.
It was that you are holding up a hex.
Ah.
Maybe? Quite possibly.
Wouldn't I have lost it by walking through the...
The anti-magic zone? Yes. Good point.
Yeah.
So no, there was nothing you were wanting to remember from last time.
Well, but we did rest, so I do have my hex.
Yes.
But my hex is useless because they're inside of an anti-magic field.
Correct.
So you are all just outside the anti-magic area, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're outside the door. Correct.
The first one to go is Azlo, and from what you can see, I mean, there's this big tower that's kind of in the middle of the room here, and so you can really only see the first guy that came around the side and saw you up there. You assume that there are the others behind him.
Now, do we just open fire on these guys? I mean, they haven't really made a move against us yet, right?
Do you want to try to negotiate?
Since we're in initiative, I would assume that they are planning to make some sort of a move. But
Yeah, I will. I'm going to delay my action with my crossbow and just basically wait for them to make the first move, and if they do, I shoot.
now, depending on how the crown's power works, if you speak something and you're not in an anti-magic zone, but they are, then what you say could either work or not work.
I like your reasoning there, Shabba.
It's sound logic.
Yeah. I can tell you've taken a course in logic.
This would be a good opportunity, though. Actually, Shabba makes a good point. Aslo, this might be a good opportunity to try out the crown, because they're not really going to come and get us very easily. They're kind of like rats in a cage.
Mm-hmm. Kind of.
And
like
despite all their rage,
yeah.
they can't reach us easily.
Thane doesn't get the reference.
Thane didn't listen to enough grunge rock.
Smashing Pumpkins,
growing
yeah.
up.
Smashing Pumpkins.
For all you 90s kids out there, represent.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna give that a try. I place my hands on my head, holding onto the crown just to kind of make sure that it's working. And I look at the foremost cultist and I say, "You will listen to me and do everything I command."
Okay.
It's working.
All
yes.
right.
Excellent.
Influence reached.
I say, "Do 7 jumping jacks."
There's no visible effect.
Dang it. I was so sure for like 3 seconds. Crap. Okay. Well, I tried.
Oh, well. Well, it could be just the magic's not penetrating the anti-magic zone.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling myself.
Well, he couldn't make me do push-ups earlier, though.
That's true.
Yeah.
So...
But I feel like you know me too well. You're able to resist my charms at this point.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
So, I mean, that gives you an unfair advantage against the crown.
I mean, when I don't need to conserve my strength anymore, I could totally do some push-ups. You were very convincing.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. As long as I get my push-ups eventually.
One of the cultists wearing the mask comes out from behind the tower, and he starts barking orders to the others. You three behind this wall. You two are over there. Clear a path. Then he quickly withdraws out of sight. It's Shabba's turn.
I will hunker by the pass-through to the room so I can kind of see what's going on down there, but not be, like, out in the open, you know? Just sort of hugging the wall, or maybe behind it, kind of peeking out every now and then. And I'll just chill with my bow in my hand.
I thought they weren't going to be able to get out.
Well, they're not yet, I mean...
He sounded very confident with his barking orders.
Yeah, it seems more like they're taking up defensive positions to prevent us from advancing on them while they figure something out, maybe.
Yeah, true.
Like, I feel like that's what we would do. If the tables were turned, we wouldn't just, like, walk away. We'd be like, okay, let's, like, keep an eye on these fools and try to figure out how we're going to get out of here.
So, is Shabba attacking or just standing there and watching?
I'm going to ready an attack action. If anybody attacks me or one of the other party members, I will attack. But I'm not actually going to be the one to fire the first shot.
3 more of these cultists pop out around the side of this tower. Each of them is holding a bow.
Oh.
And they start to shoot.
They came well equipped for this particular encounter.
All right, so do I shoot first in response to their shots or after their shots happen?
I'll let you go first.
All right. So that's a 18.
Okay, 18 hits.
6 damage on whichever guy looks the most obnoxious. Do we really have a reason to fight these guys if they're trapped in there?
That's what I'm wondering.
But we don't know if they're trapped in there.
Yeah, but can't we just go up the stairs and wait to see what they do?
And then you want to fight them without the advantage of cover? Well, maybe we don't have the advantage with them having this many bows.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of thinking, is that we don't really have an advantage here unless we use it as a pinch point.
Yeah, they might have a hard time resting in there with the whole acid thing going on. I guess they could back out into the previous room, though.
Yeah.
Tokas, I'm going to assume that you're using your shield to try to block one of the shots going at Shabba.
I'm going to try to block if they're going to hit my friends.
Okay. You deflect one shot, and it turns that into a miss by 1.
Nice.
The other one was already a miss by 1.
Awesome. Fantastic.
2 more shots going at Shabba. One of those hits.
2 more shots?
And 2 more shots going at Tokas.
They have extra attack?
A lot of monsters have 2 attacks per round.
Do you hear that? You're a bunch of monsters.
You monsters!
Multi-attack is standard for pretty much anything above challenge of 1 or 2.
Yeah.
So they pump Shabba full of holes.
So 6 shots, but only 1 hits. Shabba takes 11 points of damage.
Do you want to
11 from 1 shot?
Ouch.
Good night. Yeah, I do want to stones that.
Stones that thing.
Crying out loud.
I'll tell you right now, Yetis have multi-attack. That's for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
I do. Oh, wow, I rolled an 11 on
What?
the D12.
Nice.
So the arrow strikes you and you just don't care.
Yeah.
You just focus really hard and it sticks into you and then you just kind of and it pops out.
Yeah, I just flex my muscles and it backs out.
Or you just grow a protrusion that blocks the arrow.
Yeah, right at that moment, I sprout a new pebbly protrusion. All right, yeah, guys, I don't really see a reason why to stand around and just take all these bow shots.
Yeah, me either.
Unless we can, AoE them.
Which we
crazy,
can't.
which we can't because there's no magic. We should just back away and not...
Well, actually, we could AoE. What if we back away? Well, wait, we should talk about this at the end of
It's Tokas' turn now.
Yeah, we should talk about this now. We should leave initiative and run away. Get back to where they can't see us.
Yep.
Yeah, at the beginning of the hallway. We still want a pinch point.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Tokas, your turn.
I'm supposed to be the last one to leave, guys. I should be protecting you guys, right?
It's fine. They just took their turn, so we can all run.
Yeah, we can all run. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so I run to the end of the hall where they can't see us anymore.
Same.
Likewise.
Okay, so you're just running.
Out of view.
Like strategic cowards we are.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes running is the smart thing.
It is.
All right, so you see 2 guys that seem to be a little bit more heavily armored run up to one of the metal grates on the lower level and have some tools in hand that they begin to use to try to saw through this grate. It's probably going to take a while for that to actually work, but they came prepared.
Huh.
They're going to try to saw through the metal. Okay. So they're trapped for a number of minutes to hours.
Yeah. The question is, how long? And is that long enough for us to go back up to the main camp and assault them without worrying about them coming from behind.
Right.
Yeah, when we get back to town, I'm going to have to ask Almar where I can buy such a tool. Because I'd really like to have one.
It seems like a great tool.
For just such an occasion?
I definitely need a tool that can saw through metal. I was not aware that such a tool existed.
Yeah, diamond tip saw.
Yeah.
As you're withdrawing, 2 others come out and take shots with short bows.
For crying out loud.
Azlo is struck for 7 points of damage from one of the arrows.
Ouch.
That's all that happens before the rest of you act, and you can get far enough away that they can't really see you.
I'm getting the vibe that this troop of enemies outclasses us. I really do think they sent some of their strongest. I can't imagine all the cultists back at the camp are this power level. And if they are, we're dead anyway. Like,
Right.
I think we Hail Mary and try to get out of here.
Okay.
I think staying and trying to fight these guys is foolish. Like, I feel like confirmed. Last time I was speculated that, I feel like we have hard evidence that what I might be saying has some truth to it.
If we are going to fight them, then fighting them under these circumstances is obviously better than waiting until they get out somehow.
Yeah.
But we don't have the advantage in the circumstance, right? We can't... We were hoping to do pot shots or something, and they beat us in that area by sheer volume. I mean, you might be the better shot, Shabba. You probably are the better shot, but like 1 guaranteed hit is not going to beat 8 hits, even with healing. I mean, like, okay, yes, the healing is the factor, right? The fact that we get like 1 or 2 attacks, we have some healing, I can sit there and try to block for you guys. Like, I feel like they're going to saw through the thing before we do anything meaningful.
I mean, I guess. I don't know. This metal has been submerged in acid for hundreds of years, and now they're just going to saw through it with some mundane tool that they have?
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly the thing, right? Is that, like, we definitely have the advantage against this group right now if we fight them here. As far as the guy's sawing, it has to take at least, I mean, sawing through metal at least like 5 or 10 minutes, which is forever in combat,
5 or 10 minutes, 5 or 10 hours is more like
Yeah,
it.
well, right, exactly. Like,
It could be an hour, it could be minutes.
but as far as combat goes, it's forever, right?
Right.
Either way.
Right.
So if we stand and fight them, we have a chance of killing them before they saw through the bars.
Right.
If we run away and try to assault the main group, there's a chance that they escape before we formulate our plan and actually pull it off, in which case we might be fighting both.
If we're going to fight them, we want an advantage. I don't see the advantage so much anymore. Like, I don't know if we could set up a spike growth attack pattern. They're not dumb like the last things we fought, right?
Yeah, the more I think about it, I am strongly in favor of leaving them. We shut this door and bar it however we can to further delay them. Because like Shabba said, it has to take hours to saw through metal. Then they have to get through a locked door. And they're within anti-magic, so they can't just knock or something. They can't cast knock.
Right.
And then that gives us lots of time to go back, and we're just going to have to...
plow through.
Yeah, Hail Mary it, like we said.
Yeah. We don't need to kill the cult here.
Right.
We just need to escape.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our goal is long term. We want to work the advantage of the crown and the bracer.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we don't need to win. We just need to live.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So let's do that then.
So 2 is the maximum number of people that you can turn invisible at any time, right?
Yes.
Okay. Because invisibility requires concentration, so you can't double cast it.
Yep, requires concentration. I can cast it at 3rd level to get 2 targets.
I mean, in my mind, we turn you, Shabba, we turn you and Azlo invisible.
Well, we pass without trace everybody. We turn me and you, Tokas, invisible. Because you have worse stealth than Azlo does. Azlo's stealth is almost as high as mine.
Oh, you're hoping we sneak through? I thought I create a distraction. You guys invisibly start up the rope, and then maybe I'll like try to misty to the rope and get a head start. I don't know. I don't think we'll be able to sneak past them.
Yeah.
Thane described that it was a pretty strict perimeter. We could sacrifice Stripey to be the distraction. Tokas loves that idea.
Yeah, I know. Tokas does.
I actually don't hate the idea. I'm thinking back to that. I don't hate the idea of Stripey and I being a distraction. You guys are invisible. You start up the rope. And I have some abilities, and I also have a lot of tankiness and the armband. I might be able to live through a round or 2 of them going after me. I wouldn't be able to save Stripey, but like I might be able to get out alive. At least you guys get out alive. I don't really see a lot of other options. Unless you want to just brawl 27 cultists. So let's bar the door, whatever we can do. Do we see anything that might be able to do that? Well, one of us needs to close the door, maybe take some more hits. So I volunteer to do that.
You can go off to the side and push it closed.
Like behind the wall of the circular room and just close it from there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I close the stone door.
You can still hear them shouting and sighing, presuming you're not taking a peek in, otherwise they'll probably try to shoot at you again.
Nah, I don't need to take a peek. So, all right, door's closed. Do we see anything that might make it obvious? Is the door lockable? Like, what's the situation?
Yeah, handle, lock, anything.
It has a large knob in the center of the door, and there's nothing around here that is designed to be mobile other than the door. Like, you can't, no blocks lying around, no boards or whatever.
Right.
All right, everybody check your packs for something you can use to lock.
I mean, if we're just trying to buy time, what if we dump some of our water skins and then I freeze it? Frozen doors are harder to open, and then it would at least be slippery.
How long does that last?
It doesn't seem to have a limit. I imagine just when ice melts.
Just until it actually physically melts.
Yeah, like it makes ice.
What's the weight limit of the satchel?
The satchel can hold 500 pounds or 125 cubic feet.
Ooh.
That's a lot of pounds and cubic feet.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to use one of those satchels and sacrifice it and literally let the cult get their hands on one of the magical satchels?
No, I'm saying we go and find a bunch of stone and load up the satchel with it, bring it back.
Oh, and empty the satchel in front of the door.
Right. Yeah, just a bunch of rubble. That door will catch on everything.
Is that worth our time?
It's going to be stone grinding on stone with just like all different sized rocks.
This whole effort would be to make it so that they don't penetrate the anti-magic field. Are they inside the magic field?
Yes.
If they're on that side of the door?
Correct. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. Because I was going to say, because there's one guy in their group that just like can like bend and twist reality.
Yeah.
Seems like a pretty great skill. I'm surprised he didn't just like walk outside the room and then bend and twist the reality of this whole trap room.
Well, because remember, as soon as magic enters it, it stops.
Right.
Dissipates,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so whatever rubble we do choose, it needs to be like heavy, strong rubble that makes it so they can't get out of the magic to then get rid of all the rubble.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, like I said, it's really just a matter of catching the spot between the door and the floor, because it's all stone. So you jam up that space, even if it's anything from like small pebbles to larger rocks.
So what's the game plan? We're trying to just slow them down even more and then try to come up with a plan to fight the other guys?
Slow them down even more / make it so that they literally cannot get out. Like, if a huge stone door is stuck in place and they don't have magic, they're not going to saw through the stone door.
Right. Well, maybe, I mean, depending on like how important these particular cultists are, the remaining cultists that we don't defeat, which will be many, will probably form a search party and dig them out. So it's not like we're killing these cultists forever in this realm.
Sure.
Right. By that point, we'll either be dead or escaped.
Yes.
Or some combination thereof.
Yeah.
But we're pretty sure we need to buy more time. Could we tell how fast it looked like they were sawing through the metal?
They were just starting when you saw
They were
it.
just starting. How thick are these bars?
3/4 of an inch, maybe.
Oh, yeah. I like this plan, Shabba. I like this plan.
Yeah.
So we all grab a... Do we each have one, or do we only have the one?
One satchel.
I thought we made splits.
Yeah, didn't we? Did we not split it up?
I thought Murney split them, and then we each got one.
Split them. I don't remember that.
I feel like I remember something about that.
They're splittable.
Yeah, you can each have one.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
In my notes, I have Murney's interdimensional satchel. Does anybody else have that written in their notes that they have one?
I feel like I did.
I sure do.
He just warned us that if we give them to other people, bad things could happen.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
All right. So we run around and start filling our bags with heavy things.
Yeah, exactly. We just run up the stairs, find rubble, come back, unload.
Okay, how long are you going to spend doing this?
Yeah, hopefully this doesn't take us that long.
Yeah, it shouldn't take that long to find rocks in a cave.
How about this? If we can't get a pile of rubble worthwhile in the first 10, 15 minutes of this search, it's probably not worth it, and we should just use those 10 to 15 minutes to get to the camp and leave.
Yeah, exactly.
I would suggest no more than 5 to 10 minutes we try this.
Yeah, I would say 15.
Because, like, that might literally be how long it takes them to get through the bar, though. Bars. I mean, surely they have to get through more than one bar, but they had 2 saws.
Well, yeah, I mean, again, depending on how they're sawing through, they can't just saw through a bar and then be out, right? They've got to saw through several bars and then saw through those same bars in another place to have enough room for somebody to...
Well, how many gate... I thought they only had the one gate they need to saw through, Shabba.
Yeah, but at any one point, remember, when we were in there, the bars were set close enough that it was impossible for even a small person like us to squeeze through.
Right, we couldn't squeeze through. But that's what I'm saying, is they have two guys working on this. They have 2 saws.
Yeah,
Right.
but they're very close together.
Yes, they're close together, but maybe they only need to get through 6 bars, right? 5-6 bars before they can start to squeeze.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
and each bar they have to saw twice, right, in order to remove that one section.
In order
of the
to
bar.
remove
So
that section.
it's going to take them a while.
all right, so we spend as little time as possible to at least get an initial pile of rubble into our interdimensional satchels.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
How long do you think that takes, guys?
5-10 minutes at most.
Yeah, and again, the point is not to like build up so much rubble that it stops the door from opening. The point is to jam the door.
Yeah.
Well, we jam the door, but then we should pile stuff as well, shouldn't we?
Yeah.
You spend about 10 minutes scouring the area, hoping not to get surprised by monsters as you do so.
Yep, keeping an eye out.
Yeah.
Yep, looking for those bird brains.
And you get a decent collection of rubble, go back down and pile it in front of the stairs, try to jam it into the tiny gap.
Stones that look like they could fit in the cracks and crevices between the stone floor and the door.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, or we'll get caught very easily as they open it.
And then jam them in with our feet. And then run away.
You block the door as effectively as you can and leave the area before they have a chance to test your attempt at blocking them in. So you're going to run all the way back to the other camp now?
Don't we have, like, caltrops or something? I obscurely remember that we at one point got, like, a random bag of caltrops.
We do. I have that written down, actually.
Is it finally time to use it? Doesn't that slow down enemies, or...?
It does minimal damage to them.
Okay, so that's just as effective as leaving a spike growth here.
Actually, you know what? Maybe we try using the caltrops to jam under the door, too.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah.
Because the way they're shaped, they're triangle-ish.
Don't they hurt, though, if we handle them?
No.
If you handle them carefully.
Yeah. I would, intermittently try and jam some caltrops in there.
I don't know if you want to waste your whole bag of caltrops, maybe a few of your caltrops.
It's okay. They're cheap to buy, and they're...
Yeah.
Okay, these are like torches?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. They're the fire damage clubs of small objects that you leave laying on the ground.
Yeah, the entire purpose of them is to be left laying on the ground, so they're not very expensive.
So yeah, I just grab, a few and just kind of wedge them under the doors as best I can. And as we're running away, I'll just dump the rest of the bag out in front of the door.
Okay.
So we run back to where our original camp was.
All right, it's going to take you, again, a couple hours to get all the way back.
Right.
That's fine.
Yeah. Whatever time lead we have on those guys is still in play. Like, we're moving at the fastest pace we can.
Yeah.
Yep.
Until we get closer. Yeah, once we get closer to the camp, maybe we're not full speed, because we may want to stealth.
Yep.
So yeah, you make it back to the camp. You do hear these monsters off in the distance. Ever-present threat, but you've passed along this path several times, and it seems like the closest threats, at least, have been eliminated either by you or by the cultists for the time being.
Okay.
Yeah, they probably killed the white lobsters.
Yeah.
You guys remember those?
Yep.
So you make it back to your hiding place near their base camp, and you can see them still set up there. It actually looks like there's a bit of increased activity. The people are moving around camp. Looks like they might be getting ready to, like they're putting a group together to move somewhere.
Okay.
Okay. That's a good sign.
Should we wait this one out and see where they go?
We'll wait a little bit to see what that's all about.
I think, by the time we finish running back there, we catch our breath for a few minutes, we watch them, and we sit there and watch for 10, 15 minutes as we formulate our plan.
I would say more like an hour.
Yeah, however long it takes, I want to see what's up with this group.
Yeah. Also, just again for clarification, every last one of the cultists that we've seen so far is human-sized. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So they're not only a cult, but they are a racist cult. So that just makes me hate them even more.
Most of the people in this land are humans.
Okay.
Yeah.
Probably a good 70 to 80% of the general population.
This land meaning this continent, or...
Yeah, this whole region, like all of these countries nearby.
Okay.
Yeah, when we do finally apprehend the cult, I would like to see their diversity statement. Please and thank you.
I would. Yes.
You're in violation of...
I'd like to make sure that they have equity and inclusion training regularly.
Right. Yeah, we'll implement that for them.
Yeah, I think we need some business process solutions from the AAA team here.
But both hypnotic pattern and invisibility are concentration, right?
Yes, sadly.
Man.
Yeah.
As is silence, in case we wanted to use that.
So which one of those do we go with? I bring to the table my ring of jump, misty step. There's no water, so... Well, no, yeah, we still have water. This whole cavern has a thin film of water, right?
Yeah, their camp is... I mean, where you landed was all covered in water, so their camp is on top of a thin layer of water.
Perfect. So I could also maybe freeze
some of it.
Make some pizzas of ice.
That's good. I also have Shadow Stone.
How does the Shadow Stone work? Could you chuck it?
I could, yeah. It's a 20-foot radius of darkness.
I don't hate that. Like, we just need to do some crowd control and try to get to the rope.
So, if they've got torches and lights or whatever around their perimeter, how big around is their perimeter, first of all?
They've got their main camp, and then it was like 30 or 40 feet away from the edge of their camp is where the lights start. So it's probably like 100 to 50 feet diameter, maybe.
Okay, and how many lights in total do we see? Are these just like torches on like an emplacement? Or
There
like
are magic lights around the outside that are just kind of floating in place.
Okay. Magic lights, wow. And then how many are there that we see? Like a dozen, 2 dozen, 5 dozen, 5?
Let's say 10.
Okay.
And they're like right at the base of the rope and the ladder, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't really see another way that we could do this encounter other than leveraging the armband.
The armband, the crown.
Well, I don't know if the crown's helpful here yet, but I mean, you could try it if you wanted, but I advocate for you and Shabba go invisible, Stripey and I distract them away from the rope. You start to climb the rope, and then I hope that, you know, some combination of armband abilities and my mobility lets me get to the rope and also free. I'd have to wait till you guys are significantly up the rope, though. Otherwise, it's not worth it.
Yeah, my main concern is the fact that they're like right at the base of this ladder. I think our only real chance is as many of us being passed without trace and or invisible as possible, and then crowd control with hypnotic pattern.
Guys. Hey, guys.
Hey, what's up?
As much as I hate to admit it, there is a third option.
Uh-oh.
That we have at our disposal.
What's the third option?
We can send the crown to Murney. Find out what it does, how to use it, just as he did with the armband, and then figure out how to use the crown to help us get by this group.
I don't think it's going to get us by the group. We've already demonstrated that the crown is limited in its powers. Or we haven't figured out how to use them. Yeah, true.
Well, we've tried to control people who are in an anti-magic zone, so that's not a very good sample size.
And I've tried to control Tokas.
Also not a good sample size, without actually knowing what the crown does.
We weren't able to do anything with the armband until we knew what it did, in fairness.
Right.
It just gave me +1 armor class, and I didn't even know that it did that.
So, Tokas, do you trust Murney enough for us to...
I think we've thoroughly established our other plans suck.
Yeah. Well, first of all, so two issues with that plan, Shabba. One is that Murney only checks the satchel however often, and 2 is that it would probably take him a lot of time testing and researching to figure out what it does.
Yeah, you agreed that he would check once a day.
Yeah, once a day.
You have no idea what time of day it is right now or when you would check next?
Well, the crown's not really helping us in combat yet from what we can tell anyway. So
what we can do is, I mean, we can send him a note in advance and say, hey, check the bag, like, or are you there? Everything cool? We're going to send the crown. Or we can just put the crown in there and say, hey, when you take the crown, leave us a note and let us know what you think in terms of how long it might take you to...
It took a long time for him to do the armband. I actually don't think this is an option, the more I think about it.
It was like a couple days, yeah.
Although, there is a good chance that we should just send him the crown anyway, because if all of us die, and there's a good chance of that happening, then we don't want the crown to fall into the hands of the cult, in which case we would rather have Murney have it.
That is true. And we also had talked about the possibility that there are high-ranking members of the Sapphire Saber who are in the cult. And so we can't necessarily just drop it off at the old identification station at the Sapphire Saber and say, hey, here you go. Here's an artifact of priceless value and power.
Your plan was to get a pearl and have Tokas identify it.
Yeah, we want to be the ones to identify it.
Yeah.
Is there anything we can learn about it if we like theoretically rolled really well on our checks or something?
Oh, hey. Are there any underground lakes in here? We could just go
find a pearl.
Skin diving and go find a pearl and a clam somewhere.
You could probably find underground lakes, but I don't think they would have clams in them.
Yeah.
Well, why don't we just have Murney send us a pearl? He's right by the Green Spire.
That's true.
I start writing a note. Murney, please send us a pearl. We'll pay you back. We're good for it.
Well, no, we should just put the amount of money the pearl is worth in the satchel.
Okay, everybody pony up. 33 something gold.
Yeah.
Not have party funds.
Actually, I have enough money to just pay for it, dudes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But you've also been historically low on money, and we're trying to save up for the old teleportation.
I have 16 platinum pieces. I have 174 gold pieces. We made bank.
Let us chip in.
You want to chip in? Okay.
I'm pretty good. My total net worth is 848 gold, so I'm good.
All right. How about this? I'll pay the extra gold. I'll pay 34, and you guys can both pay 33.
All right, sounds good.
All right, fair enough.
Leaves me at a very nice even number. All right, so I put in 34 pieces of gold.
But hold on. Before we do all this, I think either way, we can't risk the crown falling into the hands of the cult, so I think we need to send it to him anyway. And yes, there's a risk that Murney, goes mad and takes it for himself, but I see this as a Lord of the Rings, Bilbo, Frodo situation. Yes, there's a chance Frodo falls to the Ring of Power, but we have to take that chance.
But for him to research the crown will take days. For him to send us a pearl could happen immediately, and then we can identify it using the pearl right away.
Well, only if he's checking the bag and only if he can actually get the pearl.
Well, sure.
Mm-hmm. A. B, if your hope, Brian, is that the cult doesn't get their hands on the crown or the armband of Altoria, we would need to put them both in the satchel and destroy the satchels.
I'm less concerned about the armband, one, because we can actually use it in combat, and two, because it's not one of the things, one of the relics.
But we've already established that they would figure out how these bags work. Your hope is that Murney grabs the crown before they get to the bag. That's a possibility.
Yeah, basically.
Well, plus we can put the crown into the bag at any time.
Okay, I got an idea. Here's how we get all of our bases. We write him a complicated note that says, because he can handle complicated. He's Murney, right? Remember?
Yeah.
We say, hey, if you can identify the crown on your own, do so. Let us know what it does. We need help. We're dying. We're surrounded. We're trapped in a cave. Or, if you can get a pearl, here's the money for the pearl, and we'll identify it ourselves.
Right, yes.
Yep.
We write him a note to that gist, and then we hope on the small chance he's going to check the satchel in the next hour or so.
Yeah, so if you can cast the identify spell on the crown, then do that. If not, send us a pearl.
Yes, nailed it.
And we've paid for it. We want a pearl that's of this quality.
Right.
100 gold pieces quality. Or better.
So, you would think a high-level caster would have some pearls lying around, right?
Yeah.
Maybe we should have asked him for the pearl a long time ago.
Probably, but here we are, at the bottom of a cave, surrounded by cultists.
So we put into the satchel the crown, the note, and a little pouch with 100 gold pieces in it.
Yep. And kisses, and we love you, Murney.
Yep.
We miss you every day.
And and in the note we say, please leave us a note to let us know that you understand and you've got it.
Yeah.
So after he takes it, leave a note. So, and then we check every 15 minutes on the dot, or every half hour.
Every 15 seconds.
We should also put a note in there that, we have to somehow figure out a way to say, don't put the crown right back in the bag when you're done with it, because then if the cult has the bag, then they just get the crown.
Unless you're giving us the ability to use it.
Yeah, no, he definitely should give us the crown back if it is coming alongside
identifiable.
No, he should give us the crown back regardless when he either has the pearl or has the information about the crown, right?
Well, Brian's trying to protect the crown.
Yeah, but we need the crown in order to identify it. If he sends us the pearl, we need the crown also so that we can cast identify.
But if we're dead and the cult has the bag, then we don't want the crown to fall into the hands of the cult.
He's playing to the +1 game a little bit, Brian is. In theory, if we were to die, what is the end result to the world we're leaving behind?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
But what is the alternative to that? How do we mitigate that issue that you're talking about?
If we can't ID the crown, he shouldn't give it back to us.
We set up a code word that only Tokas would know, or that, only Tokas and Murney would know.
Regardless of whether we use a code word or not, that doesn't solve the problem that you're talking about, which is that at some point the crown is going to enter the bag, and whether or not we are alive when that happens has no bearing on when the crown is in the bag or not in the bag.
Is it worth waiting to see if he can acquire a pearl before we put the crown in the bag, guys?
Probably not. I think we need to send it and just try to get out of here.
Right, and then maybe Murney doesn't give us back the crown is one of the potential outcomes. Just laying that out there. We did have a long discussion about this a few episodes ago.
Mm-hmm.
So we're willing to risk it?
I think so.
Yeah, but there's no way to keep whatever happens to us out of the end result of him either sending the crown back or not sending it back.
It could be like, don't send it back until we write you a note with this code word on it, and then we send it. And then if he takes that out before...
And he has that.
Yeah, if he has that, the cult gets us, then they can't send a note with that code word, so he knows not to send it back.
I seriously feel like we don't actually want to give Murney the crown. I think we should shoot for the, hey, here's 100 gold pieces, try to get us a pearl. Like, because I think we were pretty, like, we weren't sure 100% if we could trust him regarding the... Like, all we have to go off is, like, Murney joked that he would love the throne for himself. I mean, yes, he has a good track record with, like, the armband, but, like, the armband isn't something that he'd be interested in so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, he's a high-level caster. Either he has a pearl or multiple pearls of his own that he could even just let us borrow long enough to cast the Identify spell, or he would have ready access to one close by that he could get a lot quicker than he could spend the few days it took him to research the bracer.
Yeah, we need the quick fix. I think it's pretty much pearl or nothing.
Okay.
I think, Brian.
So we're okay with us having the crown on us? If we're trying to make our escape and I get taken down, then the cult gets the crown. We're okay with that. I'm just making sure.
I think either we plan to have him send us the crown back, which is the whole reason why we're sending it to him in the first place, or we plan to have him not send it back to keep it safe. Like, otherwise, there's no pattern that we can establish in our communication with him, limited as it is, that's going to really protect the crown.
We haven't figured out if the crown has implications or not. Like, the crown could literally give you an advantage on concentration checks or something. Like, we don't know what the crown does. It might give us a combat benefit. And if we're shooting for the moon here, either we do care about the world we're leaving behind from a story perspective, which I think is the right thing to do, but it's like, if we're dying and leaving this world anyway, it doesn't really matter to us as players if they get the crown.
I had that thought earlier, but that's not what a hero would do.
It's not what a hero would do, true. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
I was just putting that thought out there.
But then again, Shabba's probably the only real hero in the party.
Yeah.
Hey, what are you trying to say?
My exact thought pattern was, well, if I die, then I won't care, but I'll still be responsible for
the result.
The end of the world as we know it.
Yeah. Okay, so we stash the crown and we hope that Murney doesn't take it for himself, or that we can grab the crown before he checks the bag again after we get out of this mess.
Yes, exactly. One of those two.
Okay.
And if it means him just holding on to it and us having to go get it from him, that's fine.
Yeah.
We'll do it.
Well, then we should just write the original note we had, because if he's going to get the crown anyway, we might as well be like, hey, identify it for us, please.
The whole reason I brought up this idea is so that we could use the crown to bypass this encounter, to somehow aid us in getting past the cult.
I don't know if it's going to bypass it. It might give us, like, an advantage.
Right. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's an advantage. It's something that we can use.
Right. Well, while we're passively waiting to see what that party that they're forming does, we should go ahead and commit to a letter, and commit to the money, and commit to the this and the that. Send it to Murney, hope something happens, and maybe the only thing it's going to do is give us the comfort that the crown is harder for them to get to. Right. Because they do have to figure out the interdimensional satchel first, and then take the crown out.
Yeah.
Using the command word, right?
Yeah.
Like, you can't just grab stuff out of the bag.
Right.
There's one command that sends it from the bag to the interdimensional storage space, and then there are two other commands that can be used to empty it, either everything at once or just one item.
So all of that might extend how long Murney has to grab the crown, which is good if we're dead, which is bad if we want it back.
Right. So there's your code word right there. It's like a lock on the bag that you can't access it unless you know the code word.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah, so there you go.
But they will figure that out.
Eventually. Yeah, but hopefully Murney gets it first.
Okay, I like it.
Right.
Let's commit to that. Let's do the note and everything. Hope for the best. We trust you, Murney. We don't, but we're hoping.
Yeah, you're our only hope. We have no choice but to trust you.
Yeah, we're hoping.
You are our Frodo.
Okay. Well, I have rolled a D1440 to determine how long before he checks it.
All right. Awesome.
Okay.
Sweet.
Cool.
Makes sense.
All right.
I'm glad you have one of those laying around there, Thane.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, so we've locked that in. So do we see anything, like, what's coming of that party that formed?
Yeah, we're just hunkered down.
They've seemed to have finished up their preparations, and they're sending out a smaller group. One guy, pretty clearly the leader, heavily armored and armed as well.
He's got, like, the mask.
And 4 other followers going with him.
Okay, 5 total.
So that would knock it down from 27 to 22.
22, yeah.
If we wait long enough for them to leave which is hopefully sooner than the other guys broke out of the prison we built.
Yeah.
Do we wait for that chance? I mean, it could literally mean 5 less combatants.
Absolutely, we wait. There's no way that they've gotten through, sawing through like 6 steel bars and gotten pushed open a stone door in the time that it took them to leave.
Right.
We hope. Like, we're banking on that.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it has been a few hours since you left.
Well, right, travel time,
Few hours,
but they have the same travel time, so yeah.
We're hoping that in the threshold that group of 5 leaves is during while the group of 8 is still returning.
Mm-hmm.
This group is heading in the same direction as the first group was.
Okay.
So yeah, they're going to check on them.
Probably.
Yeah.
And then this is our window.
Yeah, so I think we wait for them to pass by. We let them get a good distance away, down, past us, and then we strike.
We should check the bag first.
Okay.
It's been a little more time.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, we check it.
All right, we check the bag. This is like Christmas morning. All right, guys.
There's nothing there. Well, not nothing there. Sorry. There's no change.
Okay, what we left in there is still there.
Okay, what we left is still there. All right.
Okay.
Dang
Okay. 22 cultists
Yep.
on high alert.
Yeah.
They're probably on higher alert now that like 2 of their strongest groups of cultists are gone.
Or maybe when the cat's away, the mice will play, Tokas. From our perch, do we see a path through the perimeter lights? Like, could we chart a course through?
The lights are placed in the semicircle such that all of the edges of the lights are just barely overlapping.
Okay.
So the whole thing is lit up to some extent. If you went right between 2 of the lights, then you wouldn't be in the bright light as long, but you would still be lit up.
Okay.
And they have guards watching the whole perimeter the whole time.
What's the range on hypnotic pattern? Maybe I'm going about this all wrong in my mind.
120 feet.
Cool. Guys, what about this idea? Stripey and I are a distraction. I'm still going back to that plan, but hear me out. Stripey and I are a distraction. You guys get to the rope, invisible, climb the rope. Azlo casts hypnotic pattern before it looks like Stripey and I are going down.
Mm-hmm.
Can he climb ropes?
Absolutely not. He's got paws. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. So I have to grab Stripey and pull him up the rope.
You
with
don't
me.
have to grab Stripey because there are diminishing returns to having both you and Stripey provide a distraction. All that is required for a distraction is the distraction. So Stripey can stay with me and doesn't have to go with you.
Okay. If he's inside of your pouch, is he also invisible?
Probably not. He probably just looks like a badger floating in the air.
Okay.
Unless he's completely inside the pack? How does that work?
Yeah.
And he doesn't really fit in your pouch so much anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's so big.
Yeah, that's true.
But no, he wouldn't be invisible just because he's inside something.
So you're hoping to provide a distraction, as in like we throw something that's loud in the opposite direction than we're approaching the camp.
Right.
You play a lot of stealth games, Jay. How should we get out?
Yeah, so in Far Cry, you have either a stone or a tin can, depending on whether you're in a vehicle or not. And in the Metro series, you have tin cans in your inventory. You throw them and they'll be like, what's that? And then they'll break from their patrol pattern.
I mean, the whole camp isn't going to go look.
Well, of course. But it's like when you're trying to sneak around a specific guard, they break from their normal patrol pattern. You know, like they go to the end and they hang out and they look around and then they turn around and go back. So like you can get them to diverge.
Right. Because we're hoping to make this 22 even smaller, but by how much?
Right.
18, maybe we're only facing 17. I mean, they're going to turn around and hear the commotion if we engage.
And we don't have a silent takedown like you do in all the video games I play.
Yeah, well, we don't have 22 silent takedowns simultaneously.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so what are we doing?
You get a bonus in Far Cry for taking over an entire base without alerting the guards once. And so that's what I try to do every time I go to a base.
We don't want to waste this opportunity. This is the best chance we've had. There's only 22 at the camp. Let's do the plan. What's the plan, Azlo?
The plan is we're figuring out the plan.
The first part of the plan is we all get into our robes. Because regardless of how much they throw them off, even for 10 seconds or whatever it is,
Yeah.
we get into our robes because...
All right, we get Stripey into his cultist robe as well.
Because his little Harry Potter get up, because that's the best we got, and we're pulling out all the stops for this one.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know if it's going to help all that much. 2 shorts, a badger, and a tall guy.
Well, that's the thing, is that at least some of us will be invisible, so we're not going to have that same...
we are going with the invisibility plan. You said you didn't like it.
I didn't say I didn't like it. If we can have some of us invisible, why wouldn't we? So
Right.
that we don't fit that profile. They're looking for a tall guy and 2 short guys. Like, why would we present that?
Yeah. I like the idea of getting our squishiest, maybe not necessarily you, Shabba, but getting our squishiest to the rope and climbing the rope. And you can cast Hypnotic one-handed, right?
I should be able to.
Look into that, because like the whole idea of you're already on the rope and climbing and like kind of safe matters.
Yeah, you can definitely cast spells one-handed.
Somatic components.
Wizards can cast with a staff.
Yeah.
What are the implications of mirror image and invisibility?
They would be duplicates of me, so they would also be invisible.
Would they?
Yeah, why wouldn't they? They're copies of however I look.
That's true.
They're exact copies. They even mimic my actions.
I was just trying to save you an action. It's because that's not a bonus action. That's a full action, right? So like if we're going in, like all the sorts of like bardics and mirror image and everything we can possibly, like I might as well like use the ring of jump on myself.
All the buffs, yep. Buff before the raid, my dude.
Right, and like pass through that trace might be worth it. It might get us closer to the rope before they...
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, Tokas, that brings up another question. What are the implications of magical light versus magical darkness? Azlo, cast light.
In 5th edition, at least, I believe the darkness generally wins unless the light is cast like directly on it to counter it or something like that.
Oh, you're thinking about the darkness stone again?
Yes.
The darkness stone could be sweet. That could be how we start this encounter, is we chuck the darkness stone at the camp around the same time that we chuck the... No, seriously, like we chuck something to make noise in the direction we're not engaging, and then we throw the darkness stone to try to take out some of their lights to get a path.
Yeah, that was kind of my thinking, was that we would travel with the darkness stone, like one of those bushes that they always use, and they go chook, 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 and they take a few steps. Ticka, ticka, ticka.
Well, that kind of gives away our position.
Okay, so darkness beats light of the same level or lower is what it looks like. It's a general rule.
And now you will see that evil will always triumph over good, because good is dumb. So darkness beats light as long as it's of higher level, but we have no idea what level the darkness stone is.
Nope.
Well, darkness is a level 1 spell, isn't it? Or level 2?
Well, so is light. Light is a
yeah, no,
cantrip.
light is a cantrip.
Yeah.
Cantrip is weaker than a level 2 spell.
Right, but they've got 10 lights that have been on infinitely for the last, that nobody's concentrating on, so this is a pretty high level spell.
I thought there were like a combination of torches and stuff. They're like light.
They have torches in the central camp. Torches and campfires are in the main camp, and then the magic lights are on the outside.
The perimeters are magic, yeah. And nobody's standing there going,
Well, Azlo doesn't have to do that. He just casts it, and he has a light source.
That's true. Yeah, it's not even concentration, the light cantrip.
If 10 out of the 22 guys know how to cast the cantrip light, I wouldn't be surprised.
That's true. Okay, so here's the thing. My 2 concentrations, hypnotic pattern and invisibility, but I think it's best to have invisibility up to get us both up there, and then potentially cast hypnotic pattern after we've started climbing up the rope, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, can we tell just by looking at the radius of the magical lights whether they're just a light spell or if they look more powerful than that? Because the light is, 20 foot bright and 20 foot shadowy?
Mm-hmm.
They're not just a light spell because they're floating in the air.
Okay.
Oh yeah, light has to be cast on an object, that's right.
Which of us should have the wand of web? Should it be me? Should it be Shabba?
Who has it again? We keep moving it around.
I don't have it.
I do.
Okay, Azlo has it.
Yeah. Should somebody else besides you have it in this case?
Possibly, yeah.
Because you have a lot of things you're going to be doing. Like, you're a really pivotal piece. So I think either Shabba or I should have it.
Maybe you should, so that you can, as you're running away from people, you can blast them with it, restrain them.
Yeah, that gives me a CC, which I don't have. Like, if I'm going to be the only one on the ground and you guys snuck to the rope, and then I'm, running and jumping to the rope, maybe I should have web.
Yeah, I'll give you the wand of web.
I still don't know how we're getting Stripey out of this. Is he with Shabba?
Well, only 2 of us can go invisible anyway, so 2 of us are going to have to be...
Right. I'm saying that, he might be the worthy sacrifice here.
Well, how did we get down? I mean, how do we climb up the rope at Ildrazar? How do we climb up the rope at any of the larger things if Stripey can't go in my pack?
we put a harness on Stripey and attach him to you.
Yeah, that's my point. What do we actually physically do if he can't fit in my pack anymore?
I think the general idea is you're usually carrying him somehow.
Yeah, Shabba is big.
Yeah, so I'll just do that same thing.
He'll be visible.
Well, that'll throw them off even more when they see a floating badger. So, not too worried about it.
Or you could be carrying the Darkstone, but that kind of defeats the purpose of the invisibility. We could plant the Darkstone on Stripey, like shove it under his collar or something.
Yeah.
Just let him run loose in the camp.
And then he can't see.
Yeah.
But you know what? Hang on a second. Stripey is one of the few that could still operate even in the midst of darkness. He has a good sense of smell. Don't badgers have a good sense of smell?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, he's got advantage on all perception checks regarding smell.
He might still be able to like make smell checks to get to like if you literally give him the command of, all right, Stripey, follow me. Like, he should be able to follow your scent.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
I like this idea. So you guys are invisible. Maybe we put the Stripey in darkness.
Yeah.
Well, we need to figure this out. Like, we need to do it before they get back, guys. We can't plan forever.
And presumably we had spent some of our time before we left originally, like having all this conversation, planning this stuff out.
Right.
Just wanted to point that out for the sake of the DM. We had like, what, half a day or something to do all this?
Yeah.
It was like a 2-hour trip. Right, 2-3 hours.
Like before we even left originally, like way before this episode.
We've been talking about this the whole time, sure, but at some point we need to pull the trigger. So let's just not forget all the tools in our toolkit.
Right. So if we're going to use the Darkness Stone at all, we should use it on anyone and everyone who is not invisible.
Okay, so I can be with Stripey.
Right.
Can I still operate with the darkness? I have dark vision.
You can't see.
Yeah, magical darkness.
I can't see. Okay, so I will hang on to Stripes and he'll lead me like a seeing eye dog.
Blind leading the blind, yeah. You just have him on a leash and he'll lead you through.
Okay, so I'll hold on to Stripes and he'll follow the smell of Shabba.
Okay.
I like it. All right. Brian, you have lots of buffs. What are we doing? Oh, I'm also going to cast Jump on myself because it's a freebie.
Cast Jump on yourself. Invisibility on Shabba and I.
Oh, wait. Before the invisibility, weren't you considering
Pass Without Trace?
Mirror image?
Oh, yeah.
Pass Without Trace from Shabba,
Both.
mirror image from you.
All of the above.
Mirror image lasts 60 seconds?
Yes. Mirror image lasts a minute. Invisibility lasts an hour.
Right, so it is going to be depleted by some amount of time, but if we're like moving and we get into initiative quickly enough, you'll still have it for a number of turns.
Yeah,
exactly.
Pass Without Trace also lasts an hour.
Okay, so that'll be Shabba's buff.
Okay, so pass. I'm holding on to Stripey. We've shoved can we plant the Darkstone on Stripey somehow?
Yeah, it's on a necklace, so we just hang it around his neck.
We hang the necklace around Stripey.
Yeah.
Perfect. Around his head.
Okay.
Cool.
So I'm going to cross off the Wand of Web, write Wand of Web on your character sheet. I'm also...
Yeah, I'm going to take the wand. Okay.
Crossing off the Darkness Stone.
Ooh, I think I found a spell that I actually want to use. Do you guys think Longstrider could be relevant here?
Probably, yeah.
Does Longstrider help you climb faster?
It gives me 10 feet of extra movement.
Yeah.
Death skis.
Yeah. That's 5 feet of extra climbing.
It's for 1 hour.
Or something like that.
It costs me 1 spell slot, 1 action touch.
Yeah, totes.
I say go for it. Might be the thing that lets you outrun the cultists.
Totes, brotes.
So, do I cast that also on Stripes? Do we blow all my spell slots, giving him and me more mobility? Might as well. I'm not going to have time to cast all these. Like, I have Shield, sure. I have a free Hex. I have the free Misty Charge. Like, maybe I should just make Stripey and me faster, because we're trying to do a runaway mission.
Yeah, how are we doing this anyway? Is it Stripey has a harness around him which is attached to your leash that he's leading you by with the Darkness Stone, and then when you get to the rope, you just carabiner him onto your belt and then start climbing?
You just start climbing and he dangles below.
Yeah, Tokas does have a 19 strength.
Right.
I mean, Tokas is strong. I think me or Shabba should be the one to carry Stripey up the rope.
Yeah.
Right. I'm just saying, if he's with you and we get separated, then we just have to make sure that he has a way up.
I'm not a strong enough mage to cast Longstrider on multiple targets with the same spell slot. It is when you cast a spell using a spell slot of 2nd level or higher, you can target an additional.
Do it on yourself, because you're the one who's going to be climbing.
You don't have 2nd level spells yet?
I don't have 2nd level spells yet.
Yeah, what's wrong with you?
Man,
I'm like a third of a caster. Haven't we talked about this?
Dude, don't you have 2nd level spells yet? No, we've never talked about it.
Ever talking about this before.
No,
That's
I don't
weird.
think you've mentioned that ever. Not once.
So you two are going to be the distraction, right? So you're actually going to go first. Then Shabba and I, invisible, are going to sneak up, hopefully get around them or past them or whatever, climb up the rope, and then potentially hypnotic pattern down on the camp, stun a bunch of them, keep climbing.
Web the rest.
You can web them.
Try to get to the rope.
Yeah.
I still think there's a strong chance we leave Stripey behind. I'm not trying to articulate that. I think it's difficult to get him out, just given the circumstances.
Shabba could also do spike growth at some point. If you manage to get to the rope and start climbing and they're chasing after you, Shabba could spike growth.
It's kind of minimal, though. They're humanoid. They're smart. Remember the time, like, there was a ginormous difference between when we used spike growth in that camp encounter. Remember with, like, the lightning bojo guy?
Yeah.
Ginormous difference in effectiveness from that to the...
Yeah. It's just if they pass the wisdom check, or whatever it is, the wisdom save.
Yeah, but they're also just more intelligent. Like, once they know kind of where it is, they won't walk over it.
But if it's right around the base of the thing, then they have to walk over it in order to get to the rope to climb it, so...
Yeah.
Right.
That's fair.
True.
That's fair. Okay, I like it. So maybe you do cast that once you get to the rope, Shabba.
Yeah.
Okay.
Casting anything breaks invisibility.
Right, yes, exactly.
Correct.
So, like, once we do that, or you do your hypnotic pattern, as important as it will be for me getting out of there,
Yep.
maybe.
So invisibility has to be the last spell that is cast.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, wait, so you're not going to invisibility into the camp, you're going to invisibility after we're already...
He's just saying I have to cast mirror image first, then invisibility, then we start the raid.
You have to cast mirror image, then I have to cast pass without trace, and then you cast invisibility.
then you
yes,
cast
yeah,
invisibility.
exactly.
Right. Any bardics you want to hand out before we do this, or...
Yeah, I'll go ahead and bardic both of you
Okay.
right before we go in, too.
Sweet.
Nice.
I like it.
Okay, I think that's everything. And of course I have other spells if we need them.
Is it always like this before a big encounter?
Yes. Always.
Is this normal?
It's just that this one is super, super important and extremely difficult for us to get out of, so we had to plan super, super well.
No, but I mean, planning sessions, I mean, we all, like, when we play in person, you know, our live stream campaigns, Champions of the Multiverse, go check it out on YouTube. Search Damage Guild on YouTube. We always have just epic planning sessions before any large encounter or heist.
It's true.
Yeah.
I remember you probably spent like 4 hours planning how to invade that giant's camp in our last campaign.
Oh, yeah.
And then did it not even matter?
That actually ended up working out in the end, I think.
For the most part, things started going awry pretty quickly, but you had enough of a plan that it kept together.
Yeah. I mean, my character got crushed by a boulder, but it still worked out.
Oh, did your character was dead?
No, he just got hit by a giant's boulder.
Oh, okay. There's one last thing we could do. So, like, how much of your mirror image is going to deplete before it's actually relevant?
It lasts a minute, and I have 3 of them. Does that answer your question?
No, I'm wondering if I should use something from the armband. I could cast... The problem with this ability is it's a whole action, but I could cast resilience on, like, myself or Stripey or...
That is not a problem while we're out of combat, whether it's an action or not.
Yeah, so, like, maybe before we... So, in other words, could I wait until DM calls initiative? Could I, like, cast resilience on myself before we go into combat?
How long does that last?
It's 60 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, slashing from non-magical.
Which is 10 rounds, so the same amount of time as mirror image.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I was asking about mirror image.
Right before we start, just go ahead and cast it on yourself. You're the distraction, so we want you to be durable.
Right. Super, super tank.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll cast it, and it's okay. It's going to lose X number of seconds.
Yeah, I mean, you do it right before we go in.
Like, how long do you think it's going to take us to sneak to the camp?
Good question.
Like, is it 15 seconds? If it's 30 seconds, then it's like, I don't really want to use this. I don't even know if you should use your ability.
Yeah, I don't even know if mirror image is worth it yet. Because just if it takes us any longer, if there are any impediments we run into along the way, like, it's going to be almost gone anyway.
I mean, it might be one of those things where we'll wish that we had done it, because every action could be precious. Mm-hmm. Like, maybe we should just both do it. Or, I mean, I can wait to do it. I'm in the shadows, and I'm walking towards the camp. It's not like this is... I don't think this is a command word, right? It's just I think it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think it, and the armband does it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, although I think I'm the only one who can sneak at full speed, so we're going to have to travel pretty slowly through the camp.
True.
I'll wait on the resilience, but I think it's reasonable for you to mirror image. Like, in other words, think about it this way, Brian. You won't have enough time in this combat to use up all your spell slots anyway. We'll probably be dead before that happens.
No, I think you wait on the mirror image, and the reason why is because if things go poorly and you're climbing the rope, then a full mirror image gets you out of short range of any crossbows a lot easier if it's not about to run out.
That's true.
Okay. So if his invisibility breaks, go ahead and cast it.
Right.
Yeah.
Kind of a situation. It's too bad it's not a bonus. I guess it'd be really overpowered if it were a bonus action.
Yeah, because we're doing two things. Well, one of three things at any given time: sneaking, running, or climbing.
Yeah.
And if we're doing one of those three things, then we're going to want some protection.
Yeah. I mean, I have action surge. I could literally do a turn of action surge, cast resilience on myself, use an action, use the wand of web. Like, I can do a lot in a turn, so maybe this is mountains and molehills, guys. Let's do it. Let's do the thing before they get back.
Let's just make it count.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we should check the bag one last time.
We should.
It's been another X amount of minutes.
Good reminder there. Yes, we should.
All right, let's check the bag one last time. Come on, Murney. Murney, come on. Come through for us, buddy. Come on. Murney, for old time's sake.
No, it has not been long enough for him to have found it.
No change.
Okay.
Man.
All right.
How long has it been since we put the crown in the bag?
25 minutes.
Okay.
30 minutes, maybe.
Okay, so Bardic Inspiration, both of you. That'll last 10 minutes. Should be plenty of time.
Are we checking the chalk chunk?
The chalk chunk is where we are right now.
Mm-hmm.
We can erase that shape as we go by.
We've been monitoring that, right? I know we said that last time.
Yeah.
We were.
You were watching it occasionally. You didn't see anyone pass by it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, it seems like this is our window, dudes.
Uh-huh.
This is it.
Okay.
So Bardic's on both of you.
Yep.
Not doing mirror image yet. So Shabba, you cast Pass Without Trace on us.
Mm-hmm.
On all of us.
All of us.
All right, I'm going to use a spell slot and crush a little grasshopper leg or whatever Long Strider takes. It's a really weird spell. And I am 10 feet faster for an hour.
All right, sick.
Okay.
Not concentration. It's just a buff.
Nice.
Transmutation.
Shabba, you cast.
I cast Pass Without Trace.
Okay.
That's how it sounds.
Then I cast Invisibility.
So wait, both Shabba and I are going to be like fast with this stealth speed, and you and Stripey would lag behind. So I guess we slow down for them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, should we have a different formation? Should we kind of break a little bit?
Yes, definitely. You guys are the distraction. So you bank left and pull them away left, and then we bank right.
Okay, sounds good.
We just go straight ahead. We're invisible.
We just go straight ahead.
You're just going for the rope.
Yeah, the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line.
Is a wrinkle.
We find that rope and we make a straight line.
Stripey and I are going to curve a little bit to the right and swing a little wide.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or maybe we should go to the left, so we're not like the middle of the camp. Let's swing left, so we're the side of the camp.
Left. Perfect.
Yep.
We're going to swing left.
What is your entry angle?
Which side of the camp were we hiding on, Thane?
It doesn't really matter. You can hide anywhere.
Okay, well then we approach the camp from wherever we're hiding. I mean,
I want to approach one of the sides of the camp and not just show up in the middle of it.
that's a good idea, actually. Traveling right along the wall seems better than just going through all their tents and stuff.
Oh, that's true.
Right.
So are you approaching along the same side, same wall?
Should we split up and go around opposite sides, or should we all approach from the same way?
Ooh, yeah. Because so you and Shabba could go to the far wall and then come around, and Stripey and I could go
To the near wall.
because you're invisible. You could be undetected even though you're crossing the open space.
Yep.
Yes.
All right, let's split. You're going to come around that way, and we'll go the way that
The other way.
we're already hiding next to.
Yeah. So we are going to, of course, give them a super wide berth until we get to the wall, and then we're
Yeah.
going to follow it and approach.
All right, so we've mapped this all out in the dirt or in the water somehow on the floor, and we've like figured this out. And we're going to just
Go for it.
go team, go.
And then you put Stripey in the darkness necklace and
Yeah.
run along the wall?
Oh, you know what stinks though? I thought we were going to have him follow Shabba's scent.
No, he'll still be following my scent because we're both moving toward the rope from the opposite ways.
That's true. And also, you might as well just keep the darkness necklace around yourself so that you have control over it if you need to cap it and make the darkness go away.
Right.
Yeah, but I need to be leashed to Stripey because I don't know where I'm going.
Right, of course.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll take the necklace off of Stripey. I'm going to wear the darkness stone, and I'll have the cap.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah,
There we go.
All right, we're set.
Make your stealth checks.
and I get this with advantage, right? Or is it plus?
It's disadvantage because it's your armor.
I rolled a 1.
You have your stealth bonus plus 10 from the Pass Without Trace.
Yeah, but I rolled a natural 1.
Yeah, but you still have a plus 10 from the
Okay.
Pass Without Trace plus your stealth bonus.
So that's a 25 for Azlo.
And a 23 for Shabba.
Tokas has a total of 12, looks like.
Did Stripey need to make a check?
Well, it's not going to be worse than yours, so... So the guard that is watching in your direction, Tokas, shouts out, "Hey, sounds like someone's coming from over there," and he points in your general direction.
Great.
And a few of the nearby cultists perk up and start readying.
Wonderful. This is going swimmingly already.
Just like all good heist movies. Gotta have something go wrong.